Welcome to my channel. I'm Lisa. If you're new, I'm so excited to have you join our family. It's a typical day here. It's a Saturday, the sun finally came out, and we are back in the kitchen. If you've noticed from my other videos, I tend to make the big dinner meal in the daytime, and that was really a game changer for me probably 10 years ago. One of the things that I learned is that eating the bigger meal curbed my appetite for the whole day. It's when I really needed that nutrition, and it gives us both a lot more energy, and it's better for digestion. That being said, let's make a simple, tasty yet elegant cod, asparagus, and mashed potato dinner. The cod can be either fresh or frozen, and that makes it so it's kind of a pantry dinner. You can pull it out of the freezer and thaw it the night before or about an hour before. And I think we only have like 6 or 7 ingredients. So let's dive in. All right, so the very first thing we do is we fill up the water to get the water boiling, and we'll turn on the oven to roughly 375, 400 degrees. While this is filling up, we'll go turn on the oven. All right, so I'm just making a meal for the 2 of us today, so I just have a smallish pot just for 2, but this could be a bigger pot if you're making this for 8. And we'll get the water boiling. Now it's time to peel the potatoes. So I have this handy dandy mitt that makes it so that I won't actually peel my fingers while I peel the potatoes. And what I like to do is figure 2 to 3 potatoes per person depending on the size. These are Yukon Gold potatoes. And because I'm just making this for Tommy and me, I think I'll do 4 or 5 potatoes today. Okay, as far as being like speedy and quick and not wasting too much time cooking and more time enjoying, cut the potatoes in small bits, and that takes off about 15 minutes of cooking time. Alrighty, so now for the asparagus. Sheet pans are amazing for roasting any kind of vegetable. High heat, 375, 400, 425 is the temperature for roasting vegetables. It just depends on the thickness of the vegetable. These asparagus are pretty thick, so I'll probably end up taking it up to about 400 degrees. So let's wash the asparagus. So uniform cutting makes them beautiful. Line up the tops. And then we're just taking the rough ends of the bottoms off. But the truth is, in the springtime when asparagus is really fresh, you can leave a little bit more on. It just depends on the time of year. I'm just gonna take off just these ends. You can kind of see the color change. Okay, so this is all just about time management. That's what makes it very simple. So we've been able to prepare the potatoes and the asparagus while the water is about to boil, the oven's about to turn on to be hot enough, and now we'll prepare the cod. Okay, so here's the easy part. We're just gonna take the cod. I had washed it when I got it home. I washed it, patted it dry, put a paper towel around it, and now I'm just gonna salt and pepper quite heavily both sides, because this really is the seasoning other than the brown butter. Okay, so the cod is salted and peppered. Now I'm just giving it a light dusting of just regular white flour. And if you don't do white flour, this is not necessary. It just gives it a little bit of a crust. But I've done it both ways. So again, this is just all about seasoning with salt, pepper, keeping it simple. But we want the potatoes to cook in a nice, delicious salt bath. So probably a tablespoon and a half. And then in go the potatoes. And the asparagus is ready to go in as well. Nice and hot. And let's get the butter going. We're going to brown it. We don't want to blacken it or char it, but the cod's going to go in as well. I turn up the water on the potatoes to get them into a good rolling boil, because we're on a time crunch here. We want everything to be ready at the same time. And my saute pan. We're going to melt the butter. All right, so the sauce is brown butter and it's nutty and delicious, but if butter gets too hot, it's going to burn. And so right now we're just browning the butter, and then we'll put that cod in and create a nice crust. So the water on the potatoes is about to boil, and I just chopped up some garlic. Now the garlic's going to be boiled, so it doesn't end up being that strong, and it can just mash right into the potatoes. So a handful of those. So this is going to go for about 15 minutes. I'm going to check on the asparagus. It's roasting nicely. All right, so we've got the potatoes going with the garlic. The butter is browning and it smells so good. It's nutty. Keep in mind, this is about a tablespoon of butter for each serving, which is a lot less fat than most fat that we get in restaurant meals. So what we want to do is brown and create a nice crust. So the timing of all of this, what I love about this meal is that you can control the timing. And the asparagus probably is in there a little too long, so I turned the temperature down. And the best way to test the potatoes is with a fork. It's only been about 10 minutes. So it's just a matter of kind of playing with the temperature. And then this is an instant read thermometer, and it's critical when it comes to cooking meat and especially fish. But I want the internal temperature here. We want our fish to be at 145. So this piece is actually, let's see. Yeah, it's not quite there. And then the thicker, of course, is going to take longer. So the thinner pieces are going to come out. There are lots of ways to hydrate cooked potatoes. I tend to like to do a traditional mashed potato. And so I put milk in a drinking glass and into the microwave for about 1.5 minutes. The milk is heating up and the beautiful fish in the brown butter is ready. So I'm just gonna put it on a plate. Alrighty, the potatoes are ready. So time to drain. Again, just for the two of us, I use a simple little mesh strainer because I don't like cleanup. All this can go in the dishwasher and back in. It took me a long time to figure out that I don't need to use a big mixer to make mashed potatoes, just a really, really good potato masher. I've done this for holiday parties for 12 and you just mash away. Super fun. Now for the good part. Some butter. Spoon. Melt the butter in. All right, so we're going to taste for seasoning, which is just the salt. Needs more salt. Just grab some sour cream to just even offer a little more complexity. If you have it in the fridge, if you don't, it's fine either way. I tend to like the mashed potatoes to be almost akin to the dipping for the meat, whether it's beef or chicken or fish. So I make mine pretty loose and full of flavor. Okay, so I'm putting the lid on and it'll stay warm for about 5 minutes. You can turn the heat on just a hair if you need to bring it back to temperature. The same thing with the cod. The cod can go back in the saute pan just to warm it up for a minute. But I believe the asparagus is ready, so let's go get that. Before taking out the asparagus, I decided to cut up a few lemons for the fish and for the asparagus and put the cod and the potatoes back on just a very low temperature, and time for asparagus. Oh yeah, nice and roasted. They smell so good. So this is going to stay hot for just a moment. Let's plate the potatoes. And I'm gonna put a little gorgonzola on the top, but it could be cheddar, it could be parmesan. It doesn't need to be at all, but I just wanted to spice it up a little bit. And then I'm just gonna put this back in the oven for a moment. I'll do the other one. Oven's good and hot, so it's always the great time to warm up the plates as well. Even on a warm day, it keeps the food nice and warm. Just for a moment. That was just for less than a minute because I don't want to burn my plates. Here we go with the asparagus. Make it look pretty. This beautiful cod in brown butter. Flaky and delicious. So last but not least, because the flavors really are just salt and pepper and butter, and a few other little things, I found this Maldon salt. It's from England, and it's coarse and it has great flavor, so it just kind of goes over the top. Just gives a little extra punch of flavor. And then of course, a little spritz of lemon on the fish and onto the asparagus. Right. And then we're ready to go. We're gonna have our romantic lunch out in the garden.
Looking good and smelling good.
You ready? All right, let's go. What we have. Saturday in the garden. Beautiful. This has been a lot of fun. It's a beautiful day. I hope you enjoy your day, and we'll see you next time.